Hello, Libra. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot. This is your tarot card for the week of November 9th, 2025. I've set the intention of this reading to be for Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. So if you have Libra in any of those placements, odds are there's a little message in this reading for you. Also, keep in mind that this is a collective general reading. It is not individualized nor personalized to you. Messages may come through today that do not fully resonate. And if that happens, don't get upset. It just means that one message is meant for someone else watching. So take what fits, how it fits, leave what doesn't, and be sure to check out your other placements. With all of that said, let's begin. Okay, Libra, if you've never been here before, this is not what you don't see coming for the week ahead. The tarot card of the week reading is usually a question that Source wants us to ponder and think about so we can go within and make a decision to move our life forward. So we don't get too stuck or stagnant in situations, environments, connections, maybe even mindsets that don't serve our highest good or no longer serve our highest good. So let's see now. Tapping into the Libra collective for Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the tarot card of the week here for Libra for the week of November 9th, 2025? Let's get one more shuffle here. Thank you. Your tarot card of the week, the Devil. What boundaries need to be created in your life when it comes to a toxic situation, environment, or connection? Excuse me. Why is the Devil the tarot card of the week here for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus? What boundaries need to be created in your life when it comes to a toxic situation, environment, or connection? I hope my mic is on. For Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. Why is this their tarot card for the week of November 9th, 2025? One more shuffle here. Thank you. You have the Ace of Swords, followed by Judgment, the Four of Swords, and the Nine of Cups. At the bottom of the deck, you have Queen of Wands, Strength, and the King of Wands. Wow. That leaves the Seven of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, Two of Wands, and Seven of Cups here at the bottom of the deck. So what is the toxic situation, though? It must come from this, within this Four of Swords. Tell me about the toxic situation, environment, or connection. Because I don't feel like this is specific. I feel like this is not generic, general. I'll tell you in a second where I'm going with this, but clarify that Four of Swords here. The toxicity. Clarify the toxicity here. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The toxicity. Five of Pentacles, Death, and the Magician. Okay, bottom of the deck, King of Swords, Four of Pentacles, and the Moon. Okay, so I don't think it's about one specific partnership in your life, or I should say one specific connection in your life. The Queen of Wands to the King of Wands are two individuals, whether it's like we're looking at employer and employee connection, or love partners, or you and a parent, or the King and Queen of Wands are symbolic here of two people who are on the same page, with the same vision, with the same mission, with the same purpose, very similar beliefs. They might go about things differently. The Queen of Wands goes about things a little bit differently than the King of Wands, but they have common goals. They have common interests. And there's something here about finding that balance in all of your connections, professional, platonic, or romantic, but that comes from you being strong. That comes from you having good boundaries. That's how you can maintain balanced connections in your life. I feel like that's the truth here. That's the truth. That's the judgment call here that you need to make. I think that's what ushers in a period of happiness and that Nine of Cups energy between you and other people in your life. Because I feel like when you don't have good boundaries and you lean more into being like a people-pleasing Libra, I think that's when the Five of Pentacles happens, where you're ghosted, you're left out in the cold, people take advantage of you, they take advantage of your good nature, and they could even take advantage of you financially. And then with that Death card, it's like the connection ends or the connection transforms, but it transforms in a negative way. And that Magician card very well could be then that other person has the ability to maybe even like manipulate you or manipulate your financial resources, or just your resources in general. They're able to manipulate you without good boundaries, and you end up giving more than what you receive. And that puts you in that Five of Pentacles. So I feel like you need to create some good boundaries in life with people across the board, whether they're family members, your coworkers, your business partner, your boss, your neighbor. I don't know if it was your reading or a Virgo reading about a month or two ago, and I think the similar card came up for them, or the similar message. And basically, it was saying to like create tiers of boundaries, right? The boundaries that I have with my colleagues that I serve with on some volunteer boards that I'm on are very different. Like I don't accept phone calls or respond to text messages from them after like 5 or 6 p.m. That once I have dinner, I'm done with that part of my volunteer work for the day. Now, if one of them were to leave a voicemail that they're in the hospital or something has happened, or they send me a text where they really need my help, then obviously I'm not going to be a jerk. I'm going to, respond and see what I can do to help them or comfort them or be there for them. But if they just want to like discuss work, that ends at 5 or 6 o'clock. That's it. And that's my volunteer time. That's the time allotted during the day to deal with that stuff. And and so that's like I've set that tier for the colleagues. Then I have a different tier for family members, and I have a different tier for friends, and obviously I have a different set of boundaries for my person. And I think some of you need to do that. Either you need one strict boundary standard across the board for everyone, or you need to create something tiered here. And I think you continually have to check in with yourself to make sure that, because it's one thing to implement the boundary, it's another thing then to have to reinforce it when people try to cross it. And I feel like I've tapped into a group of you where this toxicity, like the allowing the toxicity into your life, begins with you not having good boundaries and being a people pleasing Libra. If I just do this, they'll be nice to me. If I just do this, they won't argue with me. If I just do this, and that whole if I just do this, if I just do this, if I just do this, I think ends up causing you like a world of hurts that you could have avoided. And you also, by having boundaries, you weed out the people that have the negative intentions. Because when they realize that they can't get through and they can't, you know, sad to say, but they'll move on to the next victim. They'll know that you are off limits, that they can't take advantage of you. And I think that's the clarity that you need here. So, and look, I'm not trying to blame you for anything. I love the Libra collective. I'm your sister sign here of Gemini, but you do tend to give people a benefit of the doubt more than you should. You also tend to let people walk all over you. And I think you lose yourself in those connections when you show up that way. And I know that you want to keep the peace, but at the end of the day, my dear, you are the Justice card in tarot for a reason. Yeah, it's good to be fair and balanced, and you should, but there's nothing fair or balanced in not having boundaries, and that tips the scales, and now you're giving way more than the other entity. Let's get you 3 cards of advice here. 3 cards of advice here for Libra. How can they create these boundaries? 2 of Pentacles. 9 of Wands, your boundaries. Knight of Swords. Determining, 2 of Pentacles, making that determination. Make the determination. Do I just want to have one set of boundaries for everyone in my life? Or am I going to create this tiered or kind of category? Do what is best for you. And sometimes you have to do it per person, and that's okay. I have different boundaries with my dad than I do with my mom, and that's okay. You can do that too. That 9 of Wands, then you need to create those boundaries, right? I say she's a woman on the card, but you could be a masculine. The individual creates 8 wands of a boundary, and they hold the Ace of Wands. This is my new beginning. Every day I wake up and I have these set of boundaries behind me for these types of people in my life. And then the Knight of Swords, I'm not afraid to communicate, right? The Knight of Swords holds the Ace of Swords, their truth, their authenticity. I'm not afraid to communicate these boundaries. I'm also not afraid of reinforcing these boundaries. Yeah, it's a work in progress. 8 of Pentacles, Page of Cups, Queen of Cups. But I feel like what you need to see here is that it is an act of unconditional love for self for you to do this. And you might have to start small, 8 of Pentacles, Page of Cups, but as you get used to creating these boundaries and verbalizing them and calling people out when they cross them, the easier it'll become for you. And then I think you go from Page of Cups to Queen of Cups, which is someone who really feels emboldened and empowered because they truly do have unconditional love for self. Some of you don't have unconditional love for self. You have unconditional love for others, and that's beautiful. But you got to also love yourself sometimes to say no. So when that text, a couple of times in the beginning, they would text me at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. Oh, the meeting is tomorrow night. And I would text them and say, I can discuss this with you tomorrow prior to the meeting, or I can arrive earlier and we can discuss it out in the lobby or out in the parking lot. But I can't after, 5, 6 o'clock at night. I don't discuss, community business. Yeah, I have to verbalize. It's a little uncomfortable. I'm so sorry. I can't discuss this with you tonight, but I can discuss it with you tomorrow. And then, like, the next month rolls around, they try the same thing. I say that after you do that 2 or 3 times, one, it'll become easier for you to say it, and then it'll click in for them. Sometimes it clicks in the first time, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you'll need to actually come out and say, no, I'm sorry. Business is, no after hours business type of thing, but it will become easier for you and people will respect you more as a result of that as well, believe it or not. So yeah, the way to create these balanced connections in your life, regardless of who these people are, is for you to realize that the toxicity that infiltrates your connections actually begins with you not having healthy boundaries. And that is what I have for you, Libra. That is your tarot card for the week of November 9th, 2025. If you like these messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, maybe just found them to be helpful, please be sure to click like, share, and subscribe. And until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace.